So, can Anthony Joshua beat Tyson Fury? Let's talk boxing. Welcome to my new boxing YouTube channel. I appreciate those of you that are taking the time to subscribe. Couldn't get my words out there, and like. And obviously, even if you're critical of what I say, that's brilliant for me because you build the channel, you get involved, you help it to grow. So it's good to have different opinions. If everyone just agreed on what I said, it would be pretty boring, right? Even though it's only human nature to want people to agree with you, that's just not how things work. So you're going to get a mixture of opinions on this video. There's going to be a lot of sensitivity because you've got massive fans on Anthony Joshua's side and you've got massive fans on Tyson Fury's side. So let's get into it, and of course you guys are going to let me know your thoughts in the box below, and I really appreciate you taking your time, as I said. But like I said in the other videos, I've got no pressure on this channel to succeed or grow it because I don't really care. This is just something that I love doing. It's a hobby. I've already succeeded on YouTube already as a dating, confidence and relationship expert. So a lot of people will know me from that channel. Some of you won't, and that's not important anyway. That doesn't matter. But by the way, if any of you guys want to improve your confidence and you want to get better at dealing with shyness and social anxiety, you should check out my other channel. It might be very helpful for you. There's a lot of videos on there, loads of videos, and that's something I'm an expert in. So let's get into it. So, can Joshua beat Tyson Fury? Well, according to most of the experts, no. And I'm talking about people that really know what they're talking about. And let's start off with the Mayweather gym. Personally, if I ever want to know like who's going to win a fight or what people think, I go onto the Jeff Mayweather. Obviously, all the Mayweathers are included, but it's mainly Jeff Mayweather that runs the channel. Excuse me. And he does the interviews. He does those interviews, and he asks boxers, all experts, and they've already did that. They've done that interview in the gym, and everyone said Tyson Fury. 90% of people said Tyson Fury will beat Anthony Joshua, and they've given their reasons. And I've always thought, right, and it's not biased, people are going to say, oh, you're just saying that because you're a Fury fan. And no, I'm not just saying that. As a matter of fact, my personality, I'm pretty consistent. I know this channel is new, but throughout the times of making videos and how I am in person, I will tell the truth. If I thought Anthony Joshua from day one was going to beat Fury, I would say, oh, Anthony Joshua is going to beat him, regardless of my feelings of being a fan of Fury or not. For me, it's being truthful, and I don't take it so personal at the end of the day. It's nothing against, I don't dislike Anthony Joshua just because I want him to lose in a fight. It's got nothing to do with that. I'm looking at who I think's the better boxer, how they've managed adversity through their fights, looking at them, their mental strength, all those different factors, right? So according to the Mayweather gym, Tyson Fury is going to win. Most of the boxers in boxing, a lot of the pundits and the people that you see on YouTube and the ex-world champions, even though quite a few of the British ones will say it's a tough fight, but I edge it to Fury, they're still picking Fury. Predominantly, Tyson Fury's name is being spoken about in regards to being the winner out of the two, right? Of course, there's people that are saying Joshua's going to win, but when you add up the numbers, you go online, you look at the different media sources, you look at what the experts say, and people are saying Tyson Fury, right? And I've been saying that from day one. A lot of you have said to me, oh, if Anthony Joshua wins, I hope you're going to... Of course I'm going to admit, look, if Joshua wins, and he wins fair and square, and he beats Fury, I will say, no excuses, I was wrong, I got my prediction wrong, and Anthony Joshua is the winner. But I'm confident in my prediction, and it's great to put yourself in a position where you can get things wrong, right? This channel is not about growing and building confidence. My other channel is, I'm really passionate about improving your life as a person, facing your fears, and working on your mistakes, and and having your opinion in life, not caring about what people think. So it's nice to put myself in that position because it makes I grow personally as a person, right? And it's you should tell the truth about what you think. And listen, if you think Joshua's going to win and you really believe it, then I respect you, and I appreciate the fact that you've got the confidence and the courage to back the fighter that you think is going to win, and you're willing to risk being criticised and so forth. So they think he's going to win. Now, once again, I'm going to go into my reasons why I genuinely believe that Tyson Fury beats Anthony Joshua. Now, the first reason is what I've seen Tyson Fury overcome and come back from. Now, I won't get into the mental health breakdown. I'm going to cover that in a second, right? Side note, side tangent, we'll come back to that. I followed Tyson Fury from day one when he was fighting Derek Chisora. I don't know if any of you remember at that time, right? Derek Chisora was a really good fighter coming up. And at the time when Tyson Fury was fighting Derek Chisora, I think it was for the British title, right? I think I'm right. If I'm wrong, that's okay, because I'm illustrating my point. When Tyson was fighting Derek Chisora, you didn't really know who was going to win the fight. I remember thinking, oh, I think Derek Chisora might win at that time, because Tyson Fury was at British level, right? And that was the time when Tyson Fury was saying, I'm going to be the best heavyweight in the world. I'm going to be, I'm going to do similar to what Muhammad Ali's done. I'm going to beat the Klitschko's. Everyone was laughing. Even I at the time was thinking, who's this guy? I don't know, Tyson Fury, who's that? I don't think he's going to do what he's saying. And I couldn't fully take serious what he's saying, because I didn't really know him that well. He just came on the scene, right? But when I watched him fight against Chisora, and I think the first fight was, Chisora gave him a good fight, but Tyson won it. When they had the rematch and Tyson Fury completely destroyed him, they had to stop the fight, right? All credit. I love Derek Chisora, right? Massive heart. Probably got one of the biggest hearts in boxing heavyweight division. But Tyson Fury was just a level ahead of him. He outclassed him. When I see now Tyson Fury improve from the first Derek Chisora fight, and I started to see his boxing ability and look past how he looks, his body shape, the fact that he hasn't got a six-pack, he's flabby, looking past all of the aesthetics, all of the things that most people are so quick to judge, because that's the way we're programmed and conditioned in this society. We judge someone on how they look, which is stupid, really, because it's true what that saying says, never judge a book by its cover. When I started seeing his actual boxing ability, his jab, his movement, the fact that he could switch from orthodox to southpaw, the way he could dance around the ring, the way he could hold when he got tired, the way he could make it sometimes look dirty. He could rough it up on the inside. It doesn't look pretty, but it still works. That's what you've got to do as a champion. And the way that and the fact that he could knock people out, I started to think this guy's pretty good. That's when I was becoming a fan of Fury. I started to buy into the things he was saying. So then I remember when he had the fight with Cunningham, right? And people were saying, oh, Tyson Fury's he's a bit chinny, he's going to get knocked out. And I remember watching it and thinking, oh shit, he's going to get knocked out. He got knocked down. I was watching that fight, got straight back up. What did he do? Beat Cunningham and knocked him the hell out. Like, every time I followed Tyson Fury's journey, there's always been adversity. He's always gone through shaky moments in fights, but he's always pulled through it. He's always came through and won the fight. However you say, oh, he struggled, oh, it doesn't matter. Okay, maybe it matters if we're analysing a fight in a certain paradigm, right? And we look at certain factors and say, well, Tyson Fury has struggled in a lot of his fights, but he was a winner. Tyson Fury is a winner. That's all he knows how to do. He wins. So he beat Cunningham. Next challenge, right? Remind me of the name, guys, right? I'm gonna work on, in the next videos, getting a bit better at my research, right? I don't know the guy's name. I know he was an Eastern European fighter, Russian. He put Tyson Fury down. But Tyson Fury got back up again and won the fight and beat him. Now, this is a true story. Well, why would any of you know this, right? I saw Tyson Fury fight live, right? Basically, this is what happened. I was with a friend and we was in West End at the time, and Ashley Theophane was fighting for the British title against Lenny Dawes. And I wanted to go and see that fight, right? I wanted to see Ashley fight. I wanted him to win, right? So I knew of his career and where he grew up. I grew up in the same place. So I I was curious, and we went down to Wembley Arena. I think it was in Wembley, definitely in Wembley, right? And managed to get tickets. Now, I didn't know Tyson Fury was fighting on that bill. I didn't know who was on the bill. All I knew was Ashley Theophane was fighting for the British title against Anthony Dawes. So Tyson Fury ends up being on the bill, right? And I was really happy. I watched Tyson Fury live. Again, I can't remember the fighter's name, right? Because he wasn't really a named fight, but a big guy. Knock him the hell out. And I saw him live. I saw the confidence. I've watched quite a lot of boxing live. Been to quite a few matches. You know, been to amateur matches. I've seen Dave Walker fight, who was a really good boxer at the time, British boxer. If you guys really know your boxing, you'd know Dave Walker, right? I've saw fighters live come out, but there was something special about Fury. There was a confidence. There's a natural showman, and I just thought, this guy's unbelievable. Then after that fight, he was saying, I want to beat Vladimir Klitschko, and everyone was laughing at him. He's had it for a huge part of his career. A lot of you are doing, doubting him. Doubters laughing at him, but he says what he does. He said he was going to go to Klitschko's backyard, and he beat him. He didn't get the credit for it at the time in 2015, I believe it was, before he had the breakdown. No one gave him the credit. People just didn't seem to like giving him credit, right? And I'm not going to get into all that, maybe another video. So he always pulls it out. You know, Klitschko is a Hall of Famer. Look how long he was undefeated. Look at the people that he beat, right? I know it's not the best style, but you can say all that. But at the end of the day, he's a winner. Tyson Fury beat him, right? Next challenge. The mental breakdown. Now, I don't know, we all go through things in life, right? Everyone goes through depression, right? I'm not going to go into my whole backstory, but I've been through a mental breakdown, right? I've been through what Tyson Fury's been through. I've had to go hospital, have professional help. I know how difficult that is when you're rock bottom. It's so mentally difficult, right? And some people never come back the same. I've had friends, unfortunately, that have fallen into mental illness and they've never recovered, right? And it's a horrible thing, right? I wouldn't wish it on anyone. But the way Tyson Fury came back from that mental breakdown and the depression and whatever was going on in his life, right? It's not my business. The challenges. To lose all that weight, to go up to 28 stone and to have 2 years out the ring and to come back and just get in and have 2 warm-up fights and then get in with the most dangerous heavyweight at the time. And anyone who argues that's out of their mind, right? We're talking facts, which is Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder was going through people like a knife through butter. He was just destroying people. He was feared, right? And okay, I'm not going to get into the politics. Some of you are going to say, well, Wilder didn't want to fight Joshua. I don't know the facts. It's sure. All I know is Joshua didn't fight Wilder. Fury jumped in. Not 100%. He was not 100% in the first fight. Everyone knows that, right? He got in tremendous shape from what he was, but he was not in his best shape. And Deontay Wilder was in his prime, in his best shape. Deontay Wilder went into that fight fully believing he's going to knock Fury out. And he almost did it. Knocked Fury down. That knockout, the second one, was horrific, right? I'm not exaggerating or being dramatic. I've watched boxing for over 20 years, seen loads of knockouts. That was, I mean, everyone's been knocked out. It must be a miracle from God. I don't know what that was. Tyson Fury got back off the floor, won the rest of the round. In most people's eyes, I believe, everyone's saying he won that fight. On paper, officially it was a draw, right? He got through it. I don't know how he got through it. I'll be honest with you, at that time when he got knocked down, I thought it's over. And then the rematch, I'm not even going to go into it. We know what happened. Got a new trainer, changed the style from the herky-jerky jab, you know, move, safety first, getting out the way, changed his style. And in the last round, in the first fight, on the 12th round, Tyson Fury figured Wilder out. And that's what Tyson Fury's great at doing. He's great at seeing what your weaknesses are, seeing what your vulnerabilities are, your psychological weaknesses, your insecurities, your technical weaknesses in boxing, the things you do wrong. He figures you out. He figures you out and he breaks you down mentally and emotionally, spiritually, mentally, technically, and wins the fight. And I've always believed that's what he'll do to Joshua. He knows his weaknesses. He knows his vulnerabilities. So he's always answered questions. When questions have been answered of Fury, he always wins. Okay, we can go to Otto Wallin fight. A lot of you are going, he struggled against Otto Wallin. That's load of bullshit, right? he had a massive cut on his eye, right? All credit to Otto Watling. I think Otto Watling really gave a good effort, but Tyson Fury destroyed him. Most fighters with that cut would have lost the fight. They'd have lost heart. He just keeps overcoming things. That's been the story so far. So looking at the facts and the details and looking not at just opinions but facts, Tyson Fury wins, in my opinion. When you look at, if you got a layman to look at both their careers, someone who never knew about it, said, okay, let me look at this guy's resume. Let me look. Okay, so who's been beaten out of the two? Oh, Tyson Fury's never been beaten. Oh, Joshua's been beaten. And he's been beaten in very traumatic fashion. He got knocked down several times, 4 or 5 times, and got stopped. He got mentally broken down and physically by Andy Ruiz, who is a world-class fighter, but at the time nobody knew that. Everybody just looked at him and again done the same thing to Ruiz, what they've done to Fury, judged him on he's got a six-pack or not, which doesn't make any bullshit difference in boxing. Six-packs don't win fights. Whether you got a belly or not, it's irrelevant. It's your actual boxing ability, and it's your mental and emotional strength. And I just think Tyson Fury is all wrong for Joshua, mentally and emotionally. And I think he wins the fight. Whether he struggles or not, whether Joshua puts him down, he gets back up, I still believe he wins. Whether it goes points, whether it gets scrappy, I just think he will. I think he wins the fight. So my personal answer is no. Joshua can't beat Tyson Fury. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. What life goes on. People have got fights wrong before. I've got them wrong, but I'm really confident in this fight. So if you guys think Joshua wins, on what grounds, on what account, let me know. Because everything Joshua does, Tyson Fury does better. Apart from what I said in the last video where I gave credit, I was honest, Joshua is a better combination puncher at knocking you out of combinations, but that doesn't qualify to win the fight. Tyson Fury's better in about 20 other areas, and he's more versatile. And if we just take away, if we come out the equation of who does things better in the ring physically, if we look at who's mentally stronger, it's so obvious, and who's proven to be mentally stronger throughout their careers. And it's not saying, of course, Anthony Joshua is mentally strong. How the hell could he have won a gold medal? You've got to be strong to achieve that. You have to give the man credit. Of course, that's most of us never going to achieve that. That's amazing. And to have become a unified world champion. But like I've said before, Tyson Fury is that much stronger. Now, of course, we're going to compare them. We have to look at various factors, and obviously Joshua's not going to be compared mentally to the average man, or obviously I want to try and compare boxers here and not compare people that are not fighters, right? And give him credit. Like I said, I think Joshua does many things really well, really brilliant. And I've said before, I was really impressed. The most impressive Joshua fight I personally seen was when he beat Klitschko, right? Okay, the fact was Klitschko wasn't in his prime, and he was slightly damaged from the beating that Fury gave him in other fights, but nonetheless, that was a good enough Klitschko on that night to give anyone problems. And Anthony Joshua showed massive heart to get off the floor after being knocked down, and he just was he was a monster that night. He wasn't going to be beaten, and I really think that was the highlight of his career, and that was a flawless performance. But Joshua hasn't been consistent at doing that, and he hasn't in his last few fights. We have to look at the last few fights. That he's not been that Anthony Joshua since the Ruiz knockdown. He's very, very apprehensive, and he's very frightened naturally of being knocked out and being hurt. He's a lot more cautious and cagey, and I think that's going to go against him in the Fury fight. I personally think the Joshua that beat Klitschko would be a much better version of Anthony Joshua against Fury today. I still think Fury would win though, but he'd be a lot more dangerous than the Joshua today. And I know obviously Joshua has improved in other areas since that fight, but psychologically he's in a different place now. When Joshua goes in the ring now, he knows he can be knocked out. Fury doesn't know that, and the reason he doesn't know that is because he's never been knocked out before. It hasn't been done yet, so we have to judge the fight on that merit, or judge it, look at it as truthfully as we can. And of course, people are going to say, well, Joshua's got a puncher's chance. Everyone's got a puncher's chance in a boxing fight. That still doesn't qualify for me in regard to can he win the fight. So it'll be interesting. And I actually really am impressed for if Joshua takes the fight. But you know, it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. And like I said, if I am wrong, then I will make a video when the fight's over, and I'll honor my word and say, you know what, he's won the fight, and you have to give credit. You'd have to give credit to Anthony Joshua, and you have to give credit to anyone. And if Joshua beats Fury, and he does it in great style, then you're going to have to say what a great world champion he is, being what he's gone through and what he's come back from, and being who he's beaten. Because you have to also look at many things. You can't just look at someone's resume. You've got to look at, you know, the time that they beat the fighter in, how they beat the fighter, you know. And Tyson Fury is an amazing boxer. God, I'm getting out of breath doing these videos. So, you know, he's going to have to, for Joshua to beat Tyson Fury, he's going to have to come in there in the best shape of his life, and on the night he's going to have to get his tactics right, and he's going to have to be willing to go through very difficult moments in the fight. And I think Joshua's brilliant when he's got someone hurt, things are going his way. He's one of the best out there at finishing people off. But I cannot see it going his way in the Fury fight. It's going to be Fury's going to make life difficult for him, right? And of course, vice versa. And I just think Tyson Fury fights better when he's under pressure, when he looks like he's going to be knocked out, when it seems like he's, no, I wouldn't say tiring, he doesn't get tired, but when he starts looking like he's not at his best, boom, he pulls something out of the bag. He's always got a trick up his sleeve. He always shows something different, and he's done it in all the fights against Chisora, against Klitschko, against Deontay Wilder in both fights. He always, and he's great at nullifying and stopping what someone does really well. And what Joshua does well is push the pressure on fighters and breaks them down with powerful combination punches and knocks them out. And Tyson Fury is aware of that, and he will have a defense against that. So, and also nothing, like I said, a big reason, if the fight starts going on late and Joshua can't get Fury out of there in the first part of the fight, the first half, then that's when Joshua's proven to start getting tired. Fury gets stronger as the fight goes on. He's like the old school fighters like Ali, George Foreman, Rocky Marciano, all of the greats, all of the old timers, Jack Dempsey, Sugar Ray Robinson, all of them, right? If I didn't mention a few, apologies, I couldn't think of everything, right? There's a lot more fighters back in the day. All of the old school timers that got stronger, the 15 round fighters, the 12 round fighters, and from what I've seen, Joshua is not that way. He's more blast you out and concussive in the first, I'd say between round 1 to 8. But once it goes past 8 rounds into the last rounds, the championship rounds, that's when his weaknesses and vulnerabilities start coming out, and that's when I think Tyson Fury will exploit that. So that's my thoughts. We've talked boxing today. I look forward to talking boxing with you guys soon, and I appreciate you commenting, disagreeing, having your opinion, and I'll see you next one.